you know, I was talking to this gentleman today, and he was telling me that he was married 30 years ago, right? And his wife left, and she went to Texas, and now he's homeless, right? And he's telling me that, you know, he's playing the victim. You know, I don't know what happened. I don't know what I did to her. And we had 3 kids together, and she turned the kids against me. Now the kids don't talk to me. And I was like, what did you do? He's like, I didn't do anything. You know, like do for do, that kind of thing. And I'm like, what did you do? Eventually, he came out with it. You know, she went back to Jamaica. She had sex with her ex, right? And when she came back, I had to give her 2 slaps, he said. So he beat her. And the kids were there and saw it. So they hate him for that, right? And it made me think. And, you know, to talk about the Diddy thing last week with Cassie and the abuse and all that, and she still stayed. She stuck around. And it made me think, bro, what is it about an abusive relationship that keeps people going? Because it just seems like, I was listening to, this is what I asked you about the Couture girl. She was doing an interview, and she was talking about how she like Batman and she likes to, and I'm like, what is it about that life, that aggression, that thing that it seems like it turns women on? Because women are not, they don't leave it, they stay. Mm-hmm. And this is why I had a problem with the victim thing, because some women, they'll claim victimhood later, but while they were in it, they love the boxing, because they feel like if the guy don't box me, he doesn't love me. Yeah. You see what I mean? And my question is, what is it about that?
Me can't answer that. Me not love beating. I didn't even get beaten from my dad growing up. Me can't take man beating. Me not love it.
Have you been abused?
Never.
Never? Okay, good job.
I think part of that has to do with generational trauma. Like if you've seen your parents grow up while you were growing up, be abused or treated that way, that's what love looks like to you. And I remember a long time ago, years ago, where this sort of ideal really opened up in my mind is a friend of mine was telling me about like a girl he dated or something, and he sort of told that story where the girl was like, yo, like she was basically saying like, yo, why are you treating me so well? Like, why aren't you like yelling at me or grabbing me up type of thing, right? And so that's what I was like, what the fuck? And he was saying that like because she saw the way her parents were together, that was her idea of what love looked like. So that's what she expected from specifically this guy. I don't know if she's since changed, but at this moment in time, that's what she expected. That's what she thought a relationship looked like. So I think part of that has to do with generational trauma, that people have, how people saw their parents.
A lot of females too, they're afraid to leave.
That's another,
And I'm not proud to say this, but younger, I was abusive when I was younger.
What do you mean by that? Can you go deeper?
Yeah, I was.
Pause.
I was abusive. I was in.
What do you mean by that?
I used to hit women back in the days. You know
I'm sitting far away from him.
You know what I mean? I'm not proud of it, you know what I mean? But that was years ago.
But why? Why? Like, what made you do that?
I think about that all the time, and I think that I was just dumb. You know what I mean? I had a thing where I didn't want to be disrespected. I feel like someone would disrespect me or take me for an idiot.
But why do you have to hit?
But that's what I'm saying. At that time, I thought that was my only way of getting through to the female. And when I did that, it worked. So I was like, okay.
That was your way of communication because
you
didn't know how to like verbally
So
communicate.
I think at that time for me is that if I drive fear in her, I will get her in line and she will not do whatever she did.
But where did you learn that from?
Honestly, I didn't learn it from nobody.
Have you ever seen
your dad from your parents?
No.
Like your dad never beat you?
No, I never met my dad until I was 30.
Or your mom never beat you?
My mom beat me, but not a lot. It wasn't like, you know what I mean? I wasn't a bad kid.
I don't think that domestic violence is something that's taught. You know, I think it's just in you. To be honest
so
with you.
me at that particular time was just, I was just dumb.
I think it's hard to paint a broad brush saying it wasn't learned, or it just depends. It really depends. And Chris brought up a good point about generational trauma. There's also what they call vicarious trauma, where people can learn behaviors through seeing it in my neighborhood. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's all those factors. It's the makeup of the person. It's the personality. It's the different things that you're learning. And it's how you choose to deal with the emotions that you're feeling, because a lot of things that we struggle with, and people frequently talk about mental health, and mental health is important, especially when people are experiencing negative mental health. You have to pay attention to that, because that's what causes a lot of bad things in society. But psychological health is also important. And the distinction is mental health is more about the pathological side, like schizophrenia, all these things, anxiety, all that. Psychological health is dealing with emotions. So a lot of us don't know how to deal with our emotions. So I've gotten angry a lot of times, and when I feel the anger, I feel like I want to just take this on-ear sign and just fling it on the wall and break it. The sign didn't do nothing to me. I just don't know how to deal with my anger that I'm feeling. So because of that, I choose to do stupid things, right? Which really and truly doesn't even begin to unravel whatever I'm feeling, right? So if we learn more times to just sit down and understand the emotion that we're dealing with, and then now how to approach that emotion, it will help us.
But you know what? You're 100% right, bro. But within what you said, learn how, and going through that gap, we don't really have somebody to say, yo, Damion or Linky. You know what I mean? And for me, what worked for me is that when I used to talk to girls that are argumentative and try to like go out like they want to be the male and have that little thing, that what triggered me. You know what I mean? So what I realized what worked for me is that when I find a female that is more on the feminine side, where they're not so argumentative and not so aggressive in their answers, and if I say something to you, they're not trying to match my tone, they're like chill and calm, which when you're chill and calm, it kind of bring my ignorancy down and be like, oh shit, I didn't have to deal with shit this way. You know what I mean? Like, it checked me right away. So when I realized that started to happen to me, I'm like, oh shit, I'm upset I can deal with things differently by having a conversation instead of using my hand or whatever to communicate for me. You know what I mean?
And I'm happy you got to that point, because
you know what I mean?
Because hitting anybody, never mind women, is just ridiculous. But what I'm hearing from what you're saying, what you're saying though is, and I'm asking, not saying. So you've changed the stimulus as opposed to changing the behavior. You see what I mean? Because you said you stopped dealing with the people who were triggering you. So you learned your triggers, and then you shifted from it. My question is, no, first of all, is that does that sound right?
You're right in a sense, bro, because when I started to deal with the ladies that are not so quote unquote
right, so you started reacting differently.
But when I start to talk back to other females that was like that in my past, that led me to that aggressive.
You didn't go back to the behavior.
Exactly.
Oh, that's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah,
okay, all right. You answered the question.
So
okay,
being argumentative makes a woman masculine?
In some sense. Like, shout out to Astacia. You know, this year's gonna be 17 years we're together, so shout out to Astacia. But Astacia have taught me a lot, where sometimes I think me and Big Gary is about this already, where years ago I was playing a game and she came to the game late. She actually came when the game was done and me a change. I mean, I'm a street clothes, I go back to the vehicle, and I was so aggressive towards her. And she was just, I'm sorry, and I was running a little bit late, and you know what I mean? And I saw the shame in her face, you know what I mean? And when we got, it's like, oh, you didn't have to talk to me like that in front of everybody and blah, blah, blah. And I had to check myself. And from that, I've never, even when I'm pissed off, like really upset, I will never ever show it in crowd. Like, I wait until I get home, I have a conversation and blah, blah, blah. So I say that to say this, where for me, and I think for most men, not all men, but for some men that are alphas and stuff like that, are very aggressive, when you have a female that try to match that aggressiveness, I'm say, yo, Bridget, I say the game at 3 o'clock, I reach at 6 o'clock, yo, where you deal it? yo, we are chat to so what she had to know, she had counter attack my aggression with the fact that
Fire with fire.
exactly, and I'm thinking that really and truly you're wrong, but you want to be wrong and strong to me,
Right.
and me in my feelings and me are upset. No, what you do? Hey, girl, what you do? I'm just snap, but really and truly that wasn't really the right way to go about it. You know what I mean?
Right. But to answer Ali's question,
I
though,
have that problem.
Yeah, but to answer your question though earlier, aggression is seen as a masculine trait, right? It doesn't mean that men alone can be aggressive.
But I don't think men should even be arguing. Like, you're a man, right?
No,
You
it's
go
not.
back and
Of
forth
course,
with
what do
a
you
woman,
mean?
though.
Everybody can argue.
No, I'm
But what-
not saying it, but like you have some men that just loves to argue, like they love to talk. I don't like that.
But you see, it depends on what the talking is, because I think communication is key. You see what I mean?
But
Now,
how you do it? You're a big guy,
but
you're
if
right?
you're quarreling, then
And
that's a
I
different
shout
ball.
over each other and them
Right,
things.
but having an argument, because this is what, and this is where people get confused all the time. Oh, you like to argue? Yeah, that's communication, right? So making an argument is just simply making your points,
But some people take argument as shouting back.
because that's quarrel.
Yeah,
That's what quarreling
But
is.
some people have it that way, then, bro.
But that's what I'm trying to clarify. Argument is just simply making your point, right? You don't have to be speaking in a particular tone. You don't have to be talking about a particular topic. It doesn't even have to be a debate. Argument is just simply making your point. That's an argument. There are different types of arguments, and one type of argument
Which
is
one makes
quarreling.
a woman masculine? Which one makes a woman masculine?
Aggression is a masculine
very
trait.
aggressive.
Aggression.
So, for example, I leave work, I come home and you're not home. I'm say, yo, you leave the house and they tell me say I leave the house. Where you are dealing? Like, at least tell me say I leave the house. When I tell you say I leave the house, I go like I'm gone away. I don't think
yeah, that's triggering.
That's right away. You know what I mean? It's not, but you know what, babes? I'm not saying it's supposed to be like my quote-unquote servant, but at least, you know what, babes? You have to understand this. Oh, shit. You know what? I really left the house without telling him.
That's very triggering.
Well, at
You
least
know
I
what I
learned
And a lot of
something
black
today.
women are like that.
I learned something
A lot
today.
of black women are like
No,
that.
no, real talk, bro.
A lot of black
real
women
talk, and because they automatically think that, oh, this nigga here come to me them way. Yo, no way you doing that. So I'm can't leave the house after you not own me. Me just gone, I'm gone away. And I'm like, then I realize that I put gasoline on the fire.
I was having a conversation with one of my friends, and this is one of the things that we were talking about. He was asking me, and I was actually really trying to defend black women, but I got to my limits, and I'm like, I can't anymore. He was asking me if I think, especially in Toronto, the GTA, because we were talking about the tendency for brothers to date people of different races, especially white girls. And he was explaining to me that, you know, to be real about the whole situation, you know, the way a lot of black women approach situations with the type of aggression that they do, that's what drives some guys to just say, hey, listen, I don't want to deal with that. You see what I mean? And for a moment there, I was like, nah. I was just, and he pushed me to my limits, and I'm like, you know what? Okay, fine. You know what I mean?
That, Chris? You find black women are very aggressive?
It makes me wonder because, like, so let's just say, to simplify the whole situation, a lot of black men go to date outside the race. So that leaves black women to have to go date outside the race. So it makes me wonder, are black women still aggressive to other races, if they are aggressive at all, or are they not aggressive when they get with other races? So that question comes in my mind. As to, and I don't know, like we'd have to get like non-black people who have dated black
outside
women
race, right.
Or just have the
talk
black
about
woman here talk.
Or yeah, but she hasn't dated
I've
outside the race.
never
She hasn't
dated outside the race. But
Yeah.
you'd be surprised how many men, like outside our race, like white men especially, they like praise the ground that black women walk on.
They don't
And
know.
you don't hear them complain about what black women being aggressive. It's always our black men that complain about that. You never hear the others complain about that. Why not?
Because and Linky made a really important point earlier, and we kind of just skipped past it. Alpha to alpha. So if you're alpha female and you have an alpha male, then you're gonna have issues because you're gonna have butting heads.
So you're trying to say a white man isn't an alpha
No,
male?
for the most part, no. He's coming in already playing that role. If there's an alpha white male, he's never gonna make it with the alpha black female. Not gonna happen. And it's the same thing with the alpha white female. He's never gonna make it because alpha just don't deal with alpha. Most of the times, the reason why these situations work is because you have people who their personalities click, right? And I can tell you, more than 90% of the time, it's an alpha person with a person who's more what do you call it?
Beta.
Chill.
Not even beta, but someone who. I'm missing this word. Submissive. There you go. Thank you.
But I feel like if you don't want a woman to talk to you with aggression, don't speak to her with aggression first. I don't know.
That's a good point too.
Because
that is a good point too.
That's not okay. If you're gonna talk to me crazy, you might get it back. I'm not gonna even lie to you.
That is a good point too, because there is something to be said about starting it from scratch. Like, so Linky,
Exactly.
you're talking about the return, the rebound, right? But there is something to be said about like you starting on 100 already, which is triggering the woman to respond back to you at 100 as well too, or maybe 110. So there is something to be said about that.
Because you can't disrespect somebody and then put limits on how they disrespect you back. That's crazy.
All right, you're 100% right, but what I'm looking at, and maybe I'm wrong,
Because you're the man?
No, it's not even about the man. It's about what caused me to behave that way. That's what
But
I was
sometimes
looking at
it's
that
trivial
time.
things though.
You know what I mean? Because in that particular situation I explained is that I am saying to myself, you knew about the game. You knew what time is the game. You knew I was expecting you. You knew I wanted you there. But here you are getting here when I'm actually changed and going back into my car. That pissed me off.
Yeah.
But
go ahead. Sorry. No.
I was gonna say, like, in that specific scenario, and like obviously it resolved itself positively. But in that specific scenario, if she's showing up at 6 o'clock, the first thing you can be like, yo, babes, you know the game was at 3. What happened? Are you okay? Is everything okay? Like, you know what I mean? And that
you're 100%
changes.
right. But guess what I want to know? You're 100% right. But it was a build-up of the fact that she's always late.
Okay.
And she doesn't really take.
So there's context and
she
backstory.
doesn't really take time seriously.
Okay.
Very nonchalant where time is concerned.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there was a build-up of that. You know what I mean? And the fact that I've explained to her and I spoke to her about the whole situation.
Oh, you forgot that part.
You know what I mean?
Those are important details.
You know what I mean? But as what you're saying, like if a lady or your girlfriend or your wife piss you off, and sometimes you come off aggressive, but you can be aggressive and not be disrespectful. You understand what I mean? So go ahead, brother.
No, I don't want to cut you.
Okay, so when you're aggressive and not disrespectful, sometimes the woman reaction can come off a way like, oh, we don't have to talk to you, or you feel like, because some women, not all women, like Ali, as you could see, she is programmed in her mind that no man is supposed to talk to be aggressive.
Look at her face right now.
Yeah, and if a man talk to you aggressive, it's going to be a problem. You understand what I mean? And that's where you're going to always have conflict, and you're always going to have where you're going to talk to a man, is he an alpha, or you're going to be like, when you talk to him, he just comes and say, okay, babes. Understand. So, and the reality of is that most women, not all, most women do not respect a man that is very, yes, babes.
And
I hold long them head and really work with what she has said. Women love a man that is a man in charge and set the tone.
It depends.
Most women.
It depends because
Jamaican women.
But this is
no. Most women, right across the board.
This is what I'll say though. And we brought up trauma earlier, right? And when it comes to certain things, the more I get, the deeper I get into crisis and all these things, the more I start learning things about the reasons why we behave the way we behave, right? And one thing that I think really helps is approaching a situation, and Chris mentioned generational trauma earlier. I mentioned vicarious trauma. There are many types of trauma. There are many reasons why someone do the things they do. And if we approach things thinking from that perspective, they call it trauma-informed perspective. And I know it's very, very difficult to adopt. It's not a very simple thing to, it's a skill, really. Essentially, it's a skill. To always be thinking from, okay, why is this person doing this? Because, for example, you could look at it this way. Maybe there was traffic, right? Maybe she does have a problem with punctuality, right? She just doesn't have good time management skills because you said you've talked to her about it before. Also, the fact that she showed up. She could have just said, it's too late, I'm not going. Like, those three things you could have looked at and it would have made you think differently about the way you're approaching it. You see what I mean? Now, it's hard to do it because emotions is, you know, it's going to overbear all these things because that's a rational perspective, that's a rational approach to everything, right? But if you think that way, and if most of us think that way most times, you'd be surprised how our reaction is in the opposite way. You see what I mean? And I think that far too many times that's overlooked. The good things about what actually happened, because in everything there are good things there. You see, I just named 3. There are probably 10 more that we're not even overlooking that she went through that day that you didn't consider. You see what I mean? So it's always important to take that into consideration, right? Before we react to our emotions.
Yeah, men need to be less irrational.
Not men. Hey, stop it.
Stop
People.
this.
People.
Humor.
People.
People.
But what you're saying, bro, is 100% right. But that comes with
It comes to
patience
practice. It's a
and
skill.
growth.
It's
Exactly.
a skill. It's a
Come with
skill.
Patience, growth, you know what I mean, and the willingness to evolve and learn. You know what I mean?
You said something earlier about women not liking men that are like calm and subtle, but like I beg to differ. You'd be surprised, like say someone like me, I would say I'm very argumentative, not gonna lie, and I come off as aggressive sometimes because I don't like when nobody try to talk to me crazy, because that's disrespectful, and disrespect goes both ways, because if you respect me, I respect you. So if you talk to me crazy, it depends on the situation. Like if it's over something trivial, I'll let you have it because whatever.
You let him have it? Wow.
Yeah, because like, why am I gonna argue over something that is small and petty?
But the fact that you're thinking you're letting him have it, that's a different way.
Instead of
What do you
realizing,
mean?
you know what, I'm wrong.
Yeah.
You're right, babes. My bad.
You're giving that to him. That's
Exactly.
What you're saying.
Yeah, for peace sake.
No,
Because
it's
not
no.
everything deserves an argument.
No, but it's not a big guy. Well, big guy say argument, and a big guy say argument mean having a conversation.
Right.
So you have a conversation. You can say to yourself, say, babes, you know what, my bad. And very females like you do not apologize often. You guys are, you know what, make him have it. I can't buy the argument.
She's gonna say noise pollution, noise pollution.
But all that big guy, they was like, let him have it. Instead of be like, you know what, babes, my bad. I went about it the wrong way. But should I really tell us that I leave the house, go to the store? My bad. You're not doing that.
But do we set the table for those things though?
What is
Good
setting the
question.
table?
Create the climate in the
Create the
atmosphere.
environment. You might, cause you have well, again, no one can
Because
speak.
it's like, are we apologizing when we're wrong to the woman?
They don't.
Which helps to create the
Right.
climate.
Right.
For me, again, no one can speak on my experience. For me, I do that. You know what I mean? When my F up, I say, yo, my bad. But I've learned to do that by experience, time, learning that, okay, you know what? Although I'm an alpha male, sometimes you can wrong too. Because some alpha male or even some alpha female, in their head, they think that they're always right. You know what I mean? And when they realize that, shit, man, a human being, me can wrong to some of the time, you know what I mean? I hear what I go on, babes. My bad.
What makes you alpha?
I would say a leader. Your whole demeanor, how you carry yourself, how you deal with situations, how
You guys want to be dominant.
dominant. But for me, I would say alpha is that, for me, is how you deal with your family, how you lead your family as a family person. For me, that's just my perspective. You know what I mean? I consider myself an alpha male because, and I don't mind it because out of everything else in this world, what brings me joy is my family.
But shouldn't people consider you alpha as opposed to, because
Well, you're right.
I think a part of the problem is if you sit down and you think I'm an alpha male, then you're gonna act like an alpha male as opposed to having people recognize that and they treat you accordingly. Because if you have a dissonance, like you're thinking you're alpha, people don't see you as that, then you're always gonna be having to prove. Well, you see what I'm saying?
But that's where the understanding comes from now, where I know and I believe and I'm strongly know myself. So even if you don't look at me as an alpha male, that's fine.
That's a problem. That's not fine.
No, it's bro. Even if you Ali and Chris here looks at me as an alpha, I might go around the corner. My sister don't look at me as an alpha. I'm not gonna let that bother me. I know within myself I'm a leader. I'm a dominant.
But
person.
why is it important for you to think leader? Fine, dominant. Why? Why do you need to think of yourself as a dominant person?
Because when I mean dominant, I mean that I take charge of situations. I get to the solution. I find way of navigating myself to elevate the situation. That's just me.
Yeah, and the reason why I'm asking these questions is not to go off topic. It's
no.
It's the kind of because the more you're saying it, is the more I'm like, maybe the mentality, thinking you're alpha, can spark you, can influence the way you behave. You see what I mean? And I never thought of myself, oh yeah, so I'm an alpha, and I never thought of myself that way. I can tell based on the situation how someone's treating me.
Would you consider yourself an alpha male?
I don't think about myself that way.
Okay. What do you think about yourself as?
What do you mean?
Yeah. What kind of man do you think?
I think I can be a leader in certain situations. Okay. I also think in certain situations I'm not a very good leader. Okay. So it's situational. It's like there's no.
But as a situational.
It is. There's no one way of being. You see what I mean? You can, and as you mentioned just now, you can be an alpha here, for example. And your sister might see, yo, I know him when he was a baby. He's a punk. He's not an alpha to me. So it's really situational. So I don't think of myself in any one way. It depends on the situation and what's happening. And then if I see the need for me to act a certain way, then I'll go and act accordingly.
I want to add something, Linky. I feel like because how do I sound? Holy smokes!
Leave it to Chris.
People, the time I get late.
Talk to me.
So, I feel like a man that has mastered, what's the word I'm looking for? Emotional intelligence. He could bring an aggressive woman to like being more submissive. No. But yes, he can.
Impossible.
Yes, he can. Yes, he can. Yes, he can. Yeah. Say, for example, someone, like, say, Chris. Chris. Damion. Well, both. I'll say both the men here. Right? They're more easygoing. I feel like they can actually have a conversation without it turning into a argument. So, with that being said, like, say, a woman like me that's always ready to, like...
Spicy.
Yeah, very spicy, actually. So, I feel like... if you're dealing with a man like that, you know, when they talk to you, you'd more want to listen and communicate better. So you're not for rah every minute.
So you think that works for you?
It would work for me. Because sometimes you need that. Sometimes it give you a space to be more vulnerable and soft. Have you ever been with a guy like Chris or Damion? Yes, I have.
No.
Yes, I have.
What happened?
My very first boyfriend.
No. And what happened?
What do you mean what happened?
That's what I'm saying.
When you were 16, right?
Yeah, but that was but wait.
I knew I'd catch you.
The one who unlocked the key.
Pop the cherry. Pop the cherry. Take a sip.
They are so inquisitive. But that broke off because like I came back to Canada 3 years ago.
Came back, right?
Yeah, I returned. Yeah, 3 years ago. And dealing with a man like that, it's actually good for your peace of mind. So you feel more secure.
So I'm asking you this now. You dealt with that guy in Jamaica as a peace of mind. So here in Canada, why didn't you go back to that type of man?
Because she want bad man in she hole.
No.
She like that.
I find that there's not really...
She like that.
There's not really much here. Well, then again, maybe I'm
Whoa.
Maybe I'm going to give them the time of day. Maybe
two.
I don't give them the time of day.
I'm going to be realistic with you right
one.
now. That type of guy will not work for you.
Why?
The reality of the situation, those type of guys will not work. And I can give you
why they won't work for me?
Because you're very argumentative. And a person like Damion or Chris, they're not. Big guy will leave you unread. He will not talk to you when you're making your noise. You will come home and you will not see him. And if you see him, he will walk past you like he do not exist.
You think that's you?
Listen, I'm not asking, I'm telling you.
It depends.
No, I'm telling you.
It depends.
So it doesn't matter what you're saying. Females like you that are so argumentative and very spicy, Damon and Chris, it will not work.
You know, I beg to differ because that was my mom and my dad. You know, and they were like love.
Okay,
friends.
what do we mean? And I guess we're switching another gear.
We are.
What do you mean? Because this is a very long topic, to be honest.
No,
You
it's
said
good, but it's like
good.
morphed into like multiple.
Yeah, different things.
I'm loving it.
So please stick with us. The topic was gonna be cheating or something.
Yeah,
but it turned into all kinds of
It's
things.
deep.
I mean, there's an element of cheating in this topic.
Yeah.
With
Right.
the baby mama at 1 a.m. shit.
Yeah, that was the topic actually, and then it just turned into this. But
That's what you thought?
what was I gonna say? I was gonna ask a question about argumentative.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that? Like you say you're argumentative, right?
Like I don't just get up and argue. Meaning like if you say something to me and it comes off as disrespectful, because sometimes it's not what you say, it's really how
It's
you
how
say
you tone. Okay, give me an
So-
example. So I come home and I say, hey, good night. And I say, you didn't cook? What would you say?
My response would
Natural.
be,
What would be a natural response?
you know what? The reason why I can't even answer that because I always ask where you want to eat today. So maybe the only thing you can't ask me is why you cook so late. And then naturally, mood even have a but like I wouldn't.
Okay, so let's
don't even know
say
how to answer.
you usually ask me, what do you want to eat today? But this one day you never did,
Yeah,
right? And because you usually ask me, I'm expecting it.
yeah.
So now I come home, and because of that, I'm already on edge, and I'm like, good night. And then I walk past it. I'm like, you didn't even cook?
I'm going to ask what I want to eat today.
Yeah, like,
What you do today?
yeah, like what was going on? Like, what would you say?
I would have been like, you know what's the honesty? It slipped my mind. I did have this in the freezer, so I'm just admit that, to make life easier. Simple.
You'd say that? That's your natural response?
Listen, I might tell a joke, but I'm going to tell a lie. I don't get aggressive unless I have to. You have to talk to me crazy.
What
for me
gets
to
you
react.
Yeah,
aggressive?
give us an example.
Okay, one, I hate repeating myself. And men have a tendency to let women repeat
Men?
Men. I only talk to
Guys,
men,
you have to
so I talk
remember,
about men.
Ali is 21.
It's kind of broad.
Listen, that has nothing to do
It has
with
a lot.
No, it has nothing to do with
It has a
experience
lot.
because I'm 21, but I talk to people that are older than me. So you expect them to have more sense, which sometimes they don't.
So when
But I
people
digress.
So when people don't meet your expectations, then you could get aggressive. That's annoying to you.
It's annoying when I have to be repetitive, yes.
So when people don't meet your expectations.
Well,
Which is be repetitive.
okay, so for example, I don't like go back to the baby mother's topic. I
Okay.
don't like when you're at your baby mother's house at a certain time, and you
That
keep
definitely
on doing it.
happened.
Listen, I'm just.
Go ahead.
That is trauma for you.
You know what? See, it mix up. It mix up.
No, you're the one who's mixed up.
It mix up.
You just brought it back.
Why man said I can't win?
That's trauma for you.
Let him have it. I'm not gonna argue. I'm
There
not
you
gonna
go.
argue.
Let him have it.
You see that there?
Of course.
You
No
see that
pause.
there?
No pause.
Yeah. So that's one. Or for example, a man will come. He's always leaving his stuff all over the place. Every minute you have to walk around and I take up after him.
Okay, so let's say your typical day, so Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Right? You get up out of bed. The man's sitting here watching soccer game. Is one of his socks is there. His pajama top is over here. He used a cup and it's there, and a spoon is on the table. How would you deal with that? You get up and you see that. What's your typical reaction? Because I'm trying to gauge what you mean by argumentative.
Okay. Listen.
So all that is happening. You
Usually,
just got up.
me being argumentative, it has to be triggered by something you say or something that you do that I tell you not to do. So even if I clean up after you, I'm the woman. Naturally, I will do that because I used to live with my dad, me and him alone. I'm always have to pick up after him. So it's like that doesn't really trigger me.
So
as
in that
much.
scenario, you wouldn't get up and say, "Yeah, wait."
No, I'm not one of those women where would I say you feel like you have me
But
at
you
the end
seem
of the
pretty good then. Like I don't.
So, no,
I'm not
but
getting
it's
the-
like me. It's more of the principle of things. Like you do things that I don't like. Say you always talk to a certain girl that I probably don't like, and I always say, you know what, don't kind of limit your contact with her.
This is very much connected to the baby mom situation.
It doesn't even have to be a baby mom. It could be like a regular, like someone else. It doesn't have to be a baby mom.
Back to
I don't have no problem with no baby mothers. I just don't like baby mothers that use their kids as a pawn and try to like gain access to the man through the kid. Like I saw a video on TikTok. The girl was like, I'm not dealing with a man that has a baby mother because she's gonna send videos with the kid saying dada every minute. And
no, but those things are childish though.
It's childish, but guess
she's
what?
21.
No, I don't care about that. I don't care. I would talk to a man that have kids because I'm young. So if I'm gonna talk to an older guy, which I do like older guys, they're gonna come with kids. That's not my problem. It's the baby mothers that don't let you live in peace. They think they control you, and then they try to bully your girlfriend. And I am unbullyable.
Okay, Ali, we could talk off air about who's bothering you.
I'm just saying. That
some
is
baby's mom is in your inbox. Because
baby mother.
Yeah. What's her name? You can shout her out.
It's so messed up, bro.
Because you keep everything goes back to the baby's mom. The baby's mom really
because it was a topic, so I'm just making a reference. That's it. Why is he trying to?
No. What I'm trying to find out is because you said you couldn't.
I'm just saying that's one of my triggers for me to be argumentative. That's all.
Okay, but Linky's saying that you probably wouldn't be able to talk to a guy like Chris and myself.
I would.
Because you're argumentative. I probably think you would too, but I'm trying to understand what argumentative mean to you. That's all I'm trying to do. Yeah,
basically, okay, it takes a lot for me to actually argue. I'm so peaceful.
So you're not argumentative, man?
No, not really. I'm more so, what's the word I'm looking for?
Aggressive?
Well, sometimes I come off as that. I don't feed into this astrological thingy, but like I'm a fire sign. I'm the first fire sign. I'm Aries.
What's a fire?
Wow, okay.
Aries is the fire sign?
Yeah. He's an Aries? What month are you born in?
April.
April what day? Oh, really? I'm April 3rd. That's crazy. I've never talked to an Aries. I've never spoken to a fire sign ever.
Aries is fire sign? I didn't even know that.
We're the first
So I'm fire?
That's so funny. He's not, and you know what? Funny enough,
surprised?
the men are different.
They're
so soft. They're softer. The Aries men are soft to me. But yeah, let's not feed into that. Yeah, I'm not argumentative. I just don't like when a man talks to me crazy because then I'm gonna talk to you crazy.
I think it's a mindset though. It's just a mindset. Like you have some females like yourself. Like even when a guy is not really talking to you aggressive, it just triggers you.
No, it doesn't.
We are talking so Ray. Like certain words.
One thing I can say though, this aggression between men and women, it has to chill. And the way to quell that is to communicate. I'm learning myself how to communicate properly because, believe it or not, I do get annoyed, and I'll say some stuff. I wouldn't describe myself necessarily as an aggressive person, but I could get aggressive, and I'm learning how to communicate through that. You see what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I think the more we do that, the better it will be for us. But we have to quell that. This aggression among, especially black people. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I could tell you this. I find that most Jamaican women are super aggressive. That's just what I've seen over the years.
Chris, what kind of female are you attracted to? Aggressive, submissive, in between?
But you guys give
I'm
women
attracted
reasons.
to hippies. That's my type of woman.
Hippie. What's a hippie?
Yeah, just
hippies are hipsters.
Hippie. Like so very free flowing, free spirited, usually emotionally intellectual, usually spiritually intellectual.
Hey hippies, I like my boy. He's single.
He's not single.
No. Shit, sorry.
I have my hippie already. So.
Are you a hippie?
Am I a hippie?
Yeah,
to a degree. Yeah,
Okay.
like not. I wouldn't say necessarily full hippie, but I'm hippie-ish.
I'm not a hippie. Tell you that right. I'm not a hippie.
I think Chris likes girls that does yoga and namaste.
Yeah, that's my
like
vibe.
That is his vibe.
That is my
You haven't
vibe.
figured out.
Jazz music.
Yeah.
Sundresses.
Let's talk about what Linky likes.
Hippie, a person of unconventional appearance. Typically having long hair associated with a subculture involving a rejection of conventional values and taking of oh shit. I'm gonna repeat that last part there.
Yeah, sounds like the 1960s to me.
Hallucination drugs. That's what they say.
Yeah.
So he's part of it.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
They call them hallucinogens.
Wow. Hippie.
Hallucinogens.
I had to research it real quick.
Hallucinogens.
Listen, what kind of girls am I interested in?
We know. Don't worry.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
I like when men have a type. Men that don't have a type are so scary to me. Like, I think you just talk to anybody like a bed bug.
Like a bed bug.
Because they do.
Big guy, what is my type?
Wait, what? Why are you asking me?
Yeah, because you know my type, bro.
Why? Linky, come here. That is your type.
But Stacey is
I
not
see
like that.
it's not like that.
But that's why you have to hold on.
How would you?
Because you
describe
won.
That in one
You won the
word?
lottery.
Yo, what the hell?
I couldn't. I just had to behave.
Bro, the funniest thing is that you're so off, bro. That is not my type at all,
But guess
bro.
what? What I realized, a married man would have a wife that is so calm and soft spoken. But you see the mistress, it's the opposite of you. Okay?
Are you saying something?
Free game.
Yeah.
Are you suggesting something?
Yeah, are you suggesting?
Are you implying something? Is that dry snitching?
I know.
What is going on?
I know.
Clarify yourself.
Yeah.
You know what?
Speak up.
I feel like Damion is such an instigator. He is an instigator. The whole
No,
podcast you
I'm
have
a
been.
truth teller.
You're an informer.
Me? Me?
A dry snitcher. But big guy,
I did not
you're
snitch.
so
Are you-
off, bro. Like,
Huh?
none of my females that over my time existed on this earth that I took seriously wasn't that type of female.
But you give off that vibe like you would be attracted to that kind of female.
Yeah, but I'm totally like.
That's
no,
fine. That's
no.
okay. I'm wrong. That's good for me.
No,
You
it's
better
not
be
good.
happy I'm wrong.
No.
I want to know what type of guy do I like? Oh, God.
You?
Yeah.
Okay, dreads. He has to have dreads. And he has to be deep into the Jamaican culture. So
He has to be
in
older.
Toronto, one of those dancehall guys.
Older.
Yeah, you said older like a million
Why you
times.
gonna set me up like that on YouTube?
And then you're gonna want to be taken care of. So you want a guy who is a money making nigga. You know those ones. And I think you like attention. So even though you might say, why is he messaging me? You like it. And this is why that might happen to you more often than you think. Yeah, a little bit taller.
I don't know why you must be right through me. I'm transparent. That's
So are you
funny.
describing yourself? Right?
That was
No, I'm not.
no. The fact that he said
No, I'm
locks got me because like that is so like you're spot on with that one.
I know.
Who told you? Have I ever said that before?
No. Do you have locks? That was easy.
Yeah, we have somebody that has a locks right here.
Unavailable.
And he's a hippie.
He's a hippie.
And he's not deep into the Jamaican culture like that. He's Jamaican, but he's well cultured. She wants one who's like, this is Jamaica, just where I go. And that's yo, yeah, man, bad man.
And funny enough, I think I would venture outside of my culture for once. I was thinking of
Ali, listen.
I was
you're
thinking of
young,
white guys
you have
one
lots
time.
of years to go,
I
so
was
don't
thinking of
worry.
white guys.
I'll check you back in 5 years.
Maybe I'm with a white guy.
Maybe.
No, you're not.
All right. With that being said, speaking about white guy, Chris, you had something you wanted to mention, brother?
It had nothing to do with white guys.
I hope so. I hope not.
That's a weird segue.
I hope not.
All right.
I was gonna go to Big Guy and ask because Big Guy wanted to mention something, but I wanna get to you first.
I'm good with this part of it. If we're still talking about this.
No, we're done now. Ali, we're done it. Ali.
No, what you wanted. Bring up what you want.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, was it deep, organic, or
Oh yeah, we
Phuckery.
did dissect the topic. I mean, that topic was like everything.
That topic was like an
times,
hour.
Yeah, that topic was
that
everything
topic was the
times.
show.
Yeah.
Deep.Organic.Phuckery.
That topic was actually, but you know what? My topic does feed into a lot of what we've been talking about, because I want to talk about therapy and Jamaicans, and not just Jamaicans but Caribbeans, and like in the U.S. there's this big awareness or movement of mental health in the Black community and therapy in the Black community. But I don't see that same movement amongst Caribbeans and specifically Jamaicans as well too. So I actually wanted to bring the question to you guys on like if you feel that is the case, and if it is, why, or like is therapy and mental health becoming a growing thing of awareness, a growing movement within both like native Jamaica, but then Jamaica diaspora as well too.
So when we speak about therapy, we're not talking only about marriage counseling and therapy.
No, just like
mental health.
Yeah, mental health from the mental health aspect.
I don't know. Maybe Big Guy could agree with, like, growing up, we weren't really open to that. We weren't really taught that. We never really had that.
No, there's definitely a stigma. So when we're growing up, there's a stigma against admitting. First of all, you can't even admit it.
Yeah, the stigma, but also we weren't.
But that's the stigma right there. So, but what I'm saying is, you weren't even allowed to admit that you were experiencing any kind of mental health, and people who
did you know though? Did we know, like, growing up?
We knew, and people who were experiencing severe mental health, they were basically ostracized. We call them madman. You know, the madman on the road. You don't see him as a person anymore. You see what I mean? And nobody wants to be categorized that way. So you had people who were struggling with mental health issues and just tried so hard to fit themselves into the normal narrative that it just kind of even pushed them down the path even more. The reason why I would say that mental health therapy and all these things are becoming more common is because of the internet, right? We're more connected. We're more connected than we ever were, right? And
so you feel that way for the Jamaican community again?
Yeah, I do.
We're improving.
I do.
We're improving.
And this is why I do. When mental health and therapy became cool, like, so basketball players started coming out and saying, you know what, I suffer from mental health issues, and I've been depressed for years. The Rosen did it, Kevin Love did it, a whole bunch of people did it, and they started seeking treatment for it.
Help, yep.
So people started saying, "Well,
bringing awareness."
Okay, I'm not that off to say So people start, paying. So
even,
if you
even
notice,
your boy opened up about that too.
Who's that?
Sasko.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, on my show.
Oh yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I was right there.
Yeah.
Oh, so I did hear that. So you said for a while I think he was in the pandemic.
Yeah.
He wasn't really. I think it had a lot to do with he wasn't making money as much as he did.
He said
he
wasn't
wasn't
trying
touring.
to figure.
He wasn't.
Not even that. He said he was trying to find himself.
Right, and that's when he started going deep into the farming. He was saying.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember him saying that. But even if you check the Jamaican society, there are more psychologists now in Jamaica than there were ever before. As a matter of fact, I only knew one. This guy who spelled his name backward, Leakim Samaj, Michael James. You get it? Leakim Samaj. He actually called himself Leakim Samaj, but his name was Michael James.
That's what the nigga said she wants to be.
Yeah, but he was the only psychologist I knew about when I was growing up. You see what I mean? But now you have a bunch, right? When I was coming up in high school, I never knew about psychology as a subject. You see what I mean? Because probably if I did, I'd be further along in psychology, because obviously it's something I have a knack for, right? But now it's probably talked about in high school every day because of the internet.
That's actually really good to know, because a lot of the topics that we talk about, a lot of them have like a mental health aspect to it. Like we were just talking about how Jamaican men communicate with Jamaican women, and the lack of let's say calm communication amongst many scenarios, right? And we talked about before with violence. We've talked about violence a few times on the show, especially violence in Jamaica and amongst the Jamaican diaspora as well too, or in the Jamaican diaspora. And so as we're on this quest for us to better ourselves, and when I say us, I mean us as Jamaicans to better ourselves, that's where the question comes from of like how receptive are Jamaicans to therapy. It's not going to be the only solution, but it is going to be a big solution to help mitigate a lot of the aggression that we see, to help people understand kind of who they are, their place in this world, and it's going to influence the previous toxic decisions that they would just make just because. And we do this just because, right? Now we're thinking about things better. So That's where this question is really coming from.
Yeah, it's a good question. It's a good question, and I don't know if you wanted to say anything, Ali. You wanted to say anything about
therapy?
No. What do you think about therapy? Wait, would you go to therapy?
Yeah, I do. I would invest my time into therapy. I think it's needed, especially when you have you struggle with childhood trauma that you weren't able to move past, and it still affects you in your adult life. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you're not a therapist.
And it's so interesting because see how you say if you guys know any therapist, that's a part of why back in the days I think people were so hesitant to do therapy. It's because you kind of have to know someone in order for you to be vulnerable with them or to them.
But you know what I hear people always say? I heard someone made a comment saying that, oh, therapists are people like me and you, so why would I go to someone else for advice type of thing? That's
right, and that's what Chris is trying to explain, because what therapy can do for you, 100% right. There are people like you and I, and sometimes not even very smart. But what therapy can do for you is, no, it's true. What therapy can do is, because what therapists do, they apply particular theories. Mm-hmm. You see what I mean? A CBT, all kinds of different theories. So what the theory can do to help you, if the person is very good at their job, they don't have to be smart, is it can help you to unravel. You see what I mean? And that's the whole point of therapy. It's not for the person to tell you how to live your life. That's impossible. Nobody can do that. It's to help you to see things in a certain light. You see what I mean? You'll be very shocked to know that you'll know something already, but because someone articulated it for you and put it in a certain way, in a certain context, it makes you, aha, that's what I really think. And therapists can do that for you. Well, for the most part.
Seems like you've been
good therapist.
Yeah. Seems like he has been to a therapist.
I've never been to a therapist, but I do want to go to a therapist. I do have a lot of traumas that I need to take care of.
Yeah.
I do have...
especially, I think you have a trauma with that bun.
With what?
That man bun.
What are you laughing? That's the stiffest joke ever. No. The joke is terrible. Ali, why are you laughing? I thought we were friends.
No, we are.
You think there's a problem with my man bun?
No, I actually like it. What remember some I go to your ear anyways?
Yeah, she's a hairdresser. She's gonna give me a braid up, you know? I appreciate it in advance.
All right,
next episode.
I know. While we do the episode, they could get a braid up still. Get a. Are you finished with that tape, brother?
No, he's still going.
Yeah. So
okay. Yeah, because I said the man bun.
Yes.
So girl had wanted me to talk about my traumas because she agrees that I need to go to therapy.
Right.
But I will go to therapy. I do have things that I need clarity. You see what I mean? And I think not necessarily that therapy will give me clarity, but that's one thing to try. You see what I mean? There's a couple things I want to try. I want to go to therapy. I want to try psychedelics at least once. Eat some mushrooms.
Let me know when you're ready.
I want to try. I want to see if I could get into a certain state. And I want to go backpacking, either to Europe or Europe, Africa, or India.
That's a huge improvement, because I remember back in the day when I was traveling, you would be like, "Yo, Chris, why are you going all these places for? I could just look at them in a book." I remember you said that one time. I know you remember that.
You're growing, brother.
No, it's not about. It's not.
Growing.
Hey, don't.
You're growing.
No, this is what
so the fact that Damion wants to travel, that's huge, yo.
Not travel, backpacking.
Okay, specifically, even still, the fact that Damion wants to go and explore.
But this is why.
This
is why I think for me, my purpose is in people. Somewhere there. I don't know exactly. I don't know exactly.
Right now, 101.
Every time you say that, you throw me off.
I just felt that it's free to tell you that.
It's in people, and a girl we were on the phone talking about creating a men's group, and immediately I was like, that's something I should be doing. Don't steal my ideas. just creating a
Why
men's
not?
group.
Everybody should create
Create
a men's group.
No,
in their
but I
locale.
wanted. I don't want it to be saturated where I don't have a space.
Okay, I guess, but
But create a men's group where men can speak about the issues, the same, some of the things that we're talking about, and you know, and I think those things are my purpose. In order for me to be better at it, I need to be more cultured. In order for me to be more cultured, I need to travel more. You see what I mean? And this is where this is my reason for wanting to go to these places and just kind of sit down with a local and just have a conversation, just random. It's way outside of my comfort zone. I'm not, you know me, I'm not one to go out and even talk to anybody. I'll go to a party and I'll just be in the corner like this. I want to go outside of my comfort zone, but I don't want to do it in a party. I want to go to Europe, Africa, and India, and I want to do that.
Oh, wow. Well, 2024, guys, D-Sam will be going backpacking.
I don't know about 2024.
but soon.
But at some
Soon,
point.
soon.
Those are my things that I want to do.
I must say, I'm really excited for you to experience that and to go through those experiences and just see how you grow from that. And not even just grow, like actually, I should say expand. How you expand from that. Because you will... Yeah. And this guy says, why am I laughing at his man bun? But no, I'm excited for you to experience that and see how you'll expand because I used to tell you that a lot, and when you didn't understand why I was going to a lot of places. So I'm excited for you to experience that and like, yeah, just to have conversations with people from totally different background, totally different settings. That's
culture and stuff.
Different cultures. That's both very different, but then also too finding the similarities as well in other people where it's like, oh, you're all the way over here in this side of the world and you live in this kind of condition, but you're just like me. And like, I think that's where if we had like as like just in general humanity become more intertwined and experience each other, one culture experiences another, there's a harmony that's built there, a humanization that's built there, and then that from there there's sharing that goes out of that. So as you said, specifically for your example, you want to create these groups, but you want to gather some experiences first that you can be able to share with others, right? So I'm really excited for that.
And he's really excited for you expanding. All right. With that being said,
pause on the excitement and the expansion.
No pause.
All right.
Play. I'm excited. We need to be okay.
Yes.
I'm okay with saying I'm excited for my brother over there.
Expanding.
I am excited for my brother expanding.
Yes.
I'm excited for us to expand our horizons, our experiences.
Rise.
Yes. Don't let these amateur.
D-Sam.
Yes,
Before we
sir.
go, you said you have one thing you wanted to talk about?
No, I already did.
You did?
Yeah.
Ali Marley, you okay? Are you going to be more calm now after this podcast when you're talking to your man?
I'll think about it.
Oh my God. I think, bro.
So braid up next time? All right.
While we're doing the show? Give a braid up while we're doing the show.
Yeah, of course.
So people could actually see his man bun like
and that's a real, that's a real vibe.
Yeah, that's a vibe. That's a vibe. All right.
We might have to organize the chairs differently.
I know it.
But what I gotta say though is, thank you for showing up. We need a female energy in the show. You see what I mean? So today was great because of you. So thank you.
All right. With that being said, I want to thank you guys again, and don't forget to like, share, comment, but most importantly, subscribe. All right. Until next time.
Peace.
Peace.